My name's Charlotte and I'm going to be taking you through a really gentle Pilates class today. So this style is really good if you feel like you are sort of going through the motions with your current practice a little bit and you want to really connect with your body again, or if you maybe haven't tried Pilates before and you want to build a solid foundation for building your practice upon. All you need is a towel or a mat and a block, and if you don't have a block, feel free to use a book or a cushion. If you have any questions, just feel free to send me an email and I will get back to you. So as I touched on in the introduction, we want to start the class by laying the groundwork, by setting ourselves up correctly to build these movements on. So we're going to bring our feet together, pivot from the heel of the foot out to 45 degrees, and then pivot on the ball of the foot to bring your heels in line with the midline of your foot. And this is our stable base in which we need to stand on. So just imagine you have a tripod on the balls of your feet, connecting you to the floor. So from your heel to the inside of the ball of your foot to the outside of the ball of your foot. This is your stable base. And it might be that you instantly feel like maybe you're collapsing inwards or collapsing outwards on this tripod. We want your weight to be evenly distributed between these 3 points. Gently pressing your toes into the floor, keeping a lift in the arch. We're going to draw it up to our knees. And as with the feet, if you feel like maybe you are collapsing inwards on the inside of your foot, your knees might collapse inwards too. So taking it back, we're going to push our feet into the floor, connecting ourselves from the floor upwards, bringing our knee in line with the middle of the foot, and relax. And again, just try this torque technique, so it's generating force away from the floor, driving your feet inwards into the floor and pushing them away, bringing your knees in line with your foot, so it might open up your hips. You might feel your bum switching on a little bit. Standing up nice and tall, we're going to take it up to the hips. So from here you might want to place your middle and index finger on your hip bones and your thumb on the back of that hip bone too. And we want to just isolate this movement of loosening up your lumbar spine now. So it helps some people to envision a bowl of water as their pelvis. And to begin with, your water is nice and level. And we just want to work with pouring the water out the front of our pelvis and then rocking backwards, pouring it out the back. So bringing your belly button towards the floor, pouring the water gently out the front of this bowl, and then pouring it backwards. Belly button comes towards the spine. And as you do this, just try and keep your knees soft, shoulders relax. And just try and observe this movement and listen to your body. Is it a little bit tighter on the way back? Maybe on the front? This is a great one to do if you're sat at your desk all day. You can do it seated, you can do it in bed, you can do it standing. Okay. And now I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about dynamic movement. So we're focusing on working with dynamic strength and stability and functional movement, which translates into everyday life. It helps us understand our body's capabilities and its sensibilities and how to use our deep stabilizing muscles to help protect us from injury. And ultimately, it helps us get stronger from the inside out. And a really important aspect of dynamic strength is this ability to tap into coordinated recruitment of our deep abdominals, our diaphragm, and our pelvic floor. So from here we want to work on initiating this internal strength. So try and imagine you are drawing up from back passage to front as if you're trying to stop yourself from going for a wee. You're just gently drawing up. From here, imagine you're doing up a zip in the front of your jeans, and it's just tucking your tailbone under gently, and you feel that contraction in your lower abdominals. Even further so, we're going to connect our diaphragm. So taking a big breath in. As you take a full breath in, you'll feel that contraction. Now I want you to take a deep breath out, but maintain this contraction. So breathing out. We're drawing up. We've got our jeans done up nice and tight. And we've got this contraction. Now this is what's going to help prevent injury that I was talking about before. And if ever I talk about centering, it's this. It is this safety mechanism within our intra-abdominal balloon that we can work with our breath, with our exercises. And it helps us stay safe in this dynamic movement. Okay, so we're going to take it up all the way to the breastbone now, keeping it nice and soft. Opening up through the collarbones, take it as wide as you can. Might mean sliding your shoulder blades together and down in their back pockets. Just keep breathing here. Going to take it up to the chin, slight tuck in the chin, lengthening up through the back of the top of the head. So feel that connection from your feet all the way up your body. Track it up your knee, up to your hips, breastbone, collarbones, lengthening up through the back of the neck. As light as you can, all the way up to the ceiling. And then fingertips reaching towards the floor, creating that space between your ear and your shoulders. And just take a few breaths here. So let's begin by just starting with a little bit of neck release. So taking your left ear, bringing it down to your left shoulder, maintaining those open collarbones, shoulder blades gently squeezing together and drawing them down. Feel that stretch all the way through this side of your neck. Lengthening through your fingertips and take it over to the other side. And just slowly keep it moving. And on your next repetition, you're just going to roll it round to the front and over to the other side. And again, round to the front. And just try and feel all of this movement. We're not in a rush to take it anywhere. You'll feel if you're maybe perhaps a little bit tight in one side more than the other. So maybe just take a few breaths in one position if it feels particularly tight. Okay, and shoulder rolls. And as I said before, feel the whole of the movement. For some people it really helps to imagine the shape that they're trying to create. So we're trying to work with a nice fluid circle here. And just keep your breath natural, taking it forwards. And try and keep your ribcage locked down for this as well, so we're not overextending our ribcage. We're just isolating the movement in our shoulders. Good. And from here, tracking through your body from the floor up to the top of the ceiling. We're going to tuck our tailbone under slightly, centering ourselves, and just rock forwards into the front of this tripod. Moving only from your ankles, and then take it back. So to begin with, it's just a really tiny movement. We're just working on switching on the front of our body and the back of our body, creating balance. And working on our balance too. And we're trying to avoid our back arching here, so we want to stand nice and tall. Try not to fall through your hips, drop your head, dropping your chin. If you're confident to take that further, peel the heels away from the floor, evenly pushing through the balls of your feet. Coming up to standing, don't lose your core connection, and then slowly descend back to the floor. So really lengthening up through the top of the head for this whole movement. Feeling connected to the floor throughout. And we're going to work on lifting our arms to shoulder height here. So mobilizing the shoulders. Just stick with your sways. If coming up onto your tiptoes is too difficult, so lifting up. Feel the weight coming from your shoulder. Your fingers are really light. This movement is initiated from bringing your shoulder blades down, sliding them into their back pockets, feeling the distance between your ears and your shoulders. We're going to work on some ankle stability and then incorporate our arm floats with that to work a little bit more with some coordination. So lifting our heel, peeling it away from the floor, keeping the front of your tripod nice and even, gently pressing it down to lift the opposite side. So it helps some people to pop their fingers on their hips here to maintain this neutral pelvis. And if you want to work on your balance a little bit more, bring that other heel up as the opposite one comes down. And as you're at the top of this range, you really want to feel your bum kind of working to stabilize you, helping center you. And we'll bring our opposite arm up. If you feel like you can bring your arm higher than shoulder height without your shoulder hiking up, then feel free to go for that option. And we're just going to do a few more repetitions here. Bringing our feet together. So we're going to take our left foot forwards and we want our left heel in line with our right toe, as if we're walking on a tightrope. Try and keep your hips facing forwards. Again, you can pop your hands on your hips if that helps to stabilize you a little bit. And we're just going to work with that swaying motion that we worked with before. So rocking forwards, keeping our feet planted, and back. You'll feel Your bum really helping you here to stabilise you, keeping your back knee soft. And as you rock forward, that weight gently shifts over the front of your centre. And if this feels maybe like it's challenging your balance a little bit too much, you can always take your feet wider apart. And we're just going to lift up our back heel as we rock forwards now. Bringing our weight even further forwards, so challenging our balance, bringing that centering into this front leg. And back. Front toes lift up. So as you come back, weight comes onto that back foot, toes lift, and we rock it forwards, dropping the front toe, lifting the back heel, lifting the left heel. Standing nice and tall, feel the balance, and sway back. We'll switch over to the other side. And just start as gently as you can. So rather than testing yourself and completely losing this centering, losing your pelvic stability, just work within your range and then you will improve. Now bringing your feet in line, we're going to take it a little bit wider than we did at the start of the class, so working a little bit wider than hip distance. Just take a second to set yourself up again, so feel that tension against the ground. Feel your stable tripod. Are your knees soft? Is your chest open? Are your shoulder blades down and in their pockets? We're going to work towards a functional lifting movement. So starting with a hip hinge, we want to keep our neutral spine here, so really work on this centered space, taking a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, gently send your hips backwards, keeping your back straight, chest open. You can have a slight bend in the knee if you need to, and then breathe out, push away from the floor, coming back up to centre. And we'll do it one more time. So sending your hips back, keeping your chest open. As you come to the end range of this movement, you'll feel your bum switching on. That's your glutes helping stabilise this movement of you being able to push the floor away. And one more. And from here, we're going to hinge backwards. Taking that bend in the knee, sliding our fingers down our legs, making sure our knees stay in line with our toes. And then push the floor away. As soon as you feel your glutes kick in, driving up, maintaining brace neutral core. And taking it back again. And at the bottom of this movement here, we're going to lift up one heel, pushing the ball of our foot into the floor, keeping our pelvis neutral, so hips level, and lifting up the opposite foot. And taking it down, bringing it up. And taking it down again. Lifting up that heel, keeping our weight evenly distributed and lifting up the opposite heel. And drive up. So take this as slow as you need to. You can always revert back to the first option. And we'll do one more here.